too bad. You want all of these kids to have the best experience they could have and to find the success that they want to find at the school that they choose. And it's unfortunate that the success rate that we are seeing out of these kids is dwindling and dwindling with each passing day. And it used to be 60, 70%. And now it's probably down around 50%. And it's just too bad that for one reason or another, kids are just not finding what they're looking for at their first choice. And so many of them are going into the portal. And I'm not going to label anybody taking the easy way out or anything like that. I think it's just unfortunate, the whole thing. And, fans of our sport, I see a lot of disillusionment with the people that it's hard to follow a team when you don't know who any of the players are. And, when there isn't that two-way allegiance, I give it to you, you give it back to me type thing. So I don't know. But the television ratings are still as high as they've ever been. And maybe that's all that matters in this day and age.
Yeah, in addition to the obvious difference in pageantry and that sort of thing in watching football on Saturday versus Sunday, it was always what you just alluded to, Steve. It was that pride that you're going to watch a Monday Night Football game and you're going to see those guys announce that they played at The Ohio State University, and they never played anywhere else. They were always a Buckeye. Shoot, we should have guys playing for 3 teams here coming up. Chase Bryce, quarterback 3 teams now, Appalachian State being the latest. So, yeah, that allegiance is dying. From a news standpoint or a news cycle, it churns constantly. So that interest is in a different sense, keeping people involved during the off season and wanting to know, where is he going? Where's he going? And that sort of thing.
Theo Howard for Utah, the receiver, he's on his 3rd school. He started at UCLA, then went to Oklahoma, now is at Utah. As I was going through and looking at Utah's receivers and wondering where the offense comes from.
Right.
So, yeah, we're going to get to a point of where we might have somebody who may hit 4 schools. That's the goal right now. This is a school a year.
And with the recent departures of Ewers and Miller, I've had a lot of people asking me about, do you stop recruiting and signing 5-star quarterbacks? Well, of course not. But the management of the quarterback room, in a sense, is a little bit different. You used to be able to kind of project, okay, well, we got a senior starter, and then we got this sophomore we really like, so he's ready to take over next year. And you could kind of maybe even 3 deep kind of project it out if we continue to develop. Where now, Tony, I don't know if it's just a year-to-year process, but you don't stop recruiting the best quarterbacks you can possibly get.
No, and you have to keep doing it because you're going to lose some. Every year you're going to lose somebody, so you have to bring in somebody, and sometimes you're going to have to bring in 2. Sometimes you're going to have to go to the portal. It wasn't that long ago where when Ohio State signed Todd Beckman and then convinced him to gray shirt to separate himself a year from Troy Smith, and then he redshirted. And so it was like 2 years before he even got to play, from 3 years separated from high school, basically, between playing in games. Not that he played all that much as a redshirt freshman, but yeah, those days, if you want to, and I've suggested this in the past for Ohio State, maybe what they need to do is every other year sign the best quarterback in Ohio, whoever it is, like whoever you think the best in-state quarterback is. And he may be a 3-star, but that guy may be more likely to stick around because he wants to be a Buckeye, and he'll stick around for 4 or 5 years or 6 years or whatever you need. And then in the off chance that you need him when he's a 4th-year junior, he might be pretty good. And I'm not saying you go get the guy, his best offer is Heidelberg. No, if this guy has Power 5 offers, maybe you save a spot for him, or you just continue to assume you're going to be able to get the best in the nation, a top 5 in the nation. Look what happened this year. They lost Quinn Ewers, and then Ryan Day goes out and gets the number 5 quarterback nationally in Devin Brown. 2 years ago, they lose Tate Martell and Matthew Baldwin, but before they lose Dwayne Haskins a year earlier than they thought. They go and get Justin Fields. At this point, Ryan Day doesn't get hurt by quarterbacks leaving. he gets help by them coming and going, and there's always somebody for him to pick up. But one day maybe that won't be the case. But until it is, I guess I'm just going to side with whatever Ryan Day is doing quarterback wise because it's working.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. Ohio produced a really good quarterback this year with Drew Aller going to Penn State, and he's a guy that's going to go in there and study under Sean Clifford for a year and then could be the guy at Penn State. And if he's a guy that comes back to beat Ohio State, then there's going to be a lot of people questioning the Ohio State quarterback strategy and why weren't you looking at this guy? But those things happen. And, again, I don't begrudge Ryan Day, the tough decisions that they have to make and the work that they have to put in terms of recruiting, because it is becoming increasingly more difficult. I'll just say that.
Yeah, you have the #1 quarterback for 2022 in the class, and you just happen to have maybe the best quarterback to be produced out of the state of Ohio in several years, but you have the #1 quarterback and the #1 recruit overall. So, you don't, when you're recruiting him, you don't foresee, oh, he's going to reclassify. He's going to sign $1 million deal with Holy Kombucha. Oh, and now he's at Texas. I mean, and, I don't fault Allard for saying, well, I've been committed to Penn State and I'm going to see this through. You weren't all that interested in me, at that point when you had this Quinn Ewers kid. So, I don't know what the right situation is. I mean, I think that it's just going to be a mixture of, you can't sit there and it goes back. And I know that we don't talk a lot of basketball on this show, where we saw Thad Matta's teams getting beat by all of these Ohio kids that were maybe being under-recruited by Ohio State and going to the Wisconsins of the world and places like that, and were beating Ohio State. But at the same time, Thad Matta had more of a national recruiting approach. Are you saying at that point you don't want to go after the best kids that put you in the best position to win? So I think it's going to be a combination of, you got to keep swinging for the fences, but I think you need to probably put a little bit more emphasis on in-state. But I think that the portal is really going to be the chewing gum that's going to hold the dam together. I think that you just have to really manage the portal well, because there are going to be times where you're going to lose 2 quarterbacks in a year, vis-a-vis this year.